Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. Thank you guys for joining my 6:30 a.m. live. I really appreciate it, guys. I gave out a lot of information for those of you that did not attend my 6:30 live. Just go back and watch the video either on Facebook or on TikTok, and you guys can just write me a review what you think of the video, or if you need any assistance in anything that I discuss, then make sure that you also DM me or write me on message, um, so that you can get information in reference to that video. But I appreciate you guys. Today is Financial Free Friday, and in today's live, I'm going to be discussing ways to stop living paycheck to paycheck. I know a lot of you guys are living paycheck to paycheck, and I know that you know, you want that to stop. I was once one of them. Okay. I was once one that was taken from Peter to pay Paul. Okay. If you know what that means, you take one portion of money to pay to that person, and then you take that money to pay to the other person. That's simply what it means, right? So I know that you guys are tired of taking from Peter to pay Paul and living paycheck to paycheck. So, being that it's Financial Free Friday, I am going to be showing you or telling you ways to become financially independent. One of the ways, guys, to become financially independent, and I need you guys to share this lives to your family and your friends. Welcome back to my Facebook platform. I've been away for a while, and so welcome back to you guys. Make sure that you share it. And as always, my TikTok platform, you guys are very supportive, and I really do appreciate that. One of the ways is to reduce your uh, debt, right? Reduce the amount of debt that you have. But the only way that you can do that is start budgeting, right? It's so very important that we budget. Well, how do you do that? Basically, you take the income that you have and you budget it. You write everything down, right? Write everything down, because it's so very important, guys, that we take an inventory of what we're spending. I think one of the worst things that they could have done was get the debit cards, because I feel like with having a debit card, we're not very mindful of our spending. We're just swiping like swiper to swiper, right? And we're not being mindful of how much money we're spending. At least when we had the cash on hand, we would be able to see our money going low as we are spending. But with the debit card, guys, unless you are tracking your spending, looking, at your bank account on the apps and seeing how much money you have spent and what damages you did, you don't know what you're spending. And a lot of time people don't even want to see, because they don't want to see the damages. I think that, debit cards are not good for people that cannot, manage their monies. Cash is the best thing because, like I said, you're able to see how you're spending. But one of the things that you can do is budget. Make sure that you take an inventory of your expenses, your necessary expenses versus your wants. Okay, the things that you need and the things that you want is two different things, right? So the things that you need is it should be on the top of the list, right? And the things that you want should somewhere be at the bottom of the list because it's just wants. Now, um, getting your nails done is not a need, it's a want. Okay, getting that Starbucks coffee every day is not a need, it's a want, right? Going to the movies or going to the clubs or going to after hours, those are wants, those are not needs. Okay, uh making sure that your bills are paid, your water bill, right? Thank you for the thumbs up and the love. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for tapping that love. Appreciate it, the hearts. Give me some hearts, guys, if you're feeling this video. I appreciate you guys. And so, um you paying your rent is a need. You're paying your water bill is a need. You are putting money aside for transportation is a need. You buying grocery is a need. Gas is a need, right? These are things that you need to do. Paying your mortgage, right? Paying your maintenance. Those are needs. So we have to learn how to know the difference between the need and the want. And that's how you wind up budgeting yourself. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. Um a lot of times we just spend like we have it like that, and we don't. One of the things that you can start trying to do after budgeting, right, is live below your means, right? Living below your means, guys, it simply means living beneath your means. Isn't about uttering like you don't have, right? Depriving yourself, but it simply is a way for you to saying to for it certainly is excuse me. It's ways of saying you spend less than you earn, no matter what. Okay? You spend less than you earn. That's living below your means. The first thing that you have to do, guys, is start getting a good spending habit, right? And one of the things that I started doing in order to get out of financial strain was pay myself first. Well, what does that mean? That means that every time you get your paycheck, wherever you're getting it from, it could be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, from your regular 9 to 5, it could be TikTok, wherever you getting your paycheck from, take a percentage of that and pay yourself first. Now I know that you're like, Ella, I'm already getting paid. Okay. Yeah, we're getting paid, so why you don't have money? If you get paid every Friday or every 2 weeks or every other week or once a month, then why don't you have money? And some people say, well, I don't make enough. I beg a differ, right? There's people that make over $100,000, right, a year, and they still living paycheck to paycheck. And you know why? Because they are living beyond their means, right? The more money you make, the more money that you spend. And it's not supposed to be like that. The more money you make, or the more money that you make, right? You are supposed to give yourself something back. It's not about the money that you get, but it's about the money that you keep. And when you keep a certain amount of money, you have to know what to do with that money, right? So some people, and people always say all the time, oh, if I had more money, then maybe I could do this, but maybe I could do that. And then they get more money and then they still in the same boat. How does that work? Because it's not about the amount of money that you have, but it's about the amount of money that you keep and what you do with that money, right? If I had $10,000 over here and somebody that don't know how to budget or don't know how to deal with money had $10,000 over here, right? You got two people that had $10,000. Depending on what each person does with that money, right? Because you have the same amount. Within a couple of months, this person on the left can be broke, right? Because depending on what they did with that money. While this person on the right knew exactly what to do with that money. They took it, they put it into a retirement, they put a little bit into emergency fund, they put a little bit into investments, and then maybe they took a little bit and just splurged a little bit, right? Where on the left side, the person is totally broke and they like, oh, I don't know what happened to that money. Now we both had the same amount of money. So that's why I say it's not about the money that you have, but it's about what you do with that money. Okay? It's about what you do with it. There's people that makes over $100,000 a year and is living paycheck to paycheck and has nothing to show for it. where you have some people that are making 30, 40,000, even $50,000 a year, and they have a bank account, they have a retirement, you know, and they have much more. Just because you have more does not mean that you're set, because it's about what you do with it, guys. It's about what you do with your money. Pay yourself first. One of the things that I've realized by paying myself first, I have the opportunity to do the things that I want to do that I couldn't do if I didn't have the money. If an opportunity comes up, I don't want to have to tell myself, dang, I wish I had the money to do that. Dang, I wish I had money to go here. I wish I had money to go there. I want to be able to have it and not wish for it. And by me paying myself first, it gives me the opportunity to grab things that come my way and not wish for it. I remember when I started this journey on being financially free. I used to work, and when I was working, the first thing I used to do, which was totally wrong, was probably because I used to get paid every other week. So if I knew my time was coming up to get paid, probably by that Thursday or or that Wednesday, I would start writing a budget of everything that I have to get paid. I have to pay off my rent, my light, my gas, my cable, this, that. I would write everything off, and then I would add it up. Right? I would add it up, and then I would write down what I'm getting paid and then deduct it from all of my bills. And most of the time, I didn't have nothing left. Nothing. I had to get transportation. I had, money, put away money for transportation and everything else. And a lot of times I didn't have nothing left. Nothing. So if I wanted to save, I might have had maybe a good 40, $50 left. This was years ago. Okay. I'm in a better place now because I learned how to pay myself first. I learned how to, when I get paid, right? And I don't care where I'm getting paid from, social media, my regular job, if I got a bonus or whatever, I learned to take a portion of that money, right, before I do anything with it and pay myself first. Give me something for working so hard instead of taking all of my bills and just tossing the money on all of my bills, and then I'm left waiting for another paycheck. I got tired of that. I got tired of that because that's when you feel like you're working like a slave, right? That's when you feel like your work is just for you to pay bills, right? Because every time you get paid, you got to just ditch out the money. You got to just hand out the money, and then you got to work another week or another 2 weeks just to do the same thing over and over again. That's like a rat race. So you don't want to do that, guys. You want to pay yourself first and build yourself a nice nest egg, so when you have the opportunity to do something, you're able to do it. When I started writing my book, and I had two books out, right? I didn't know how I was going to fund it to get published and everything, because publishing your book, if you don't know how to do it yourself, is going to cost you, right? So I was thinking of ways. Well, dang, I know I could write the book, but once I finish writing the book, it has to be edited, and it has to be printed, and it has to be published. So I says, and listen, I'm a person. I'm a read. I'm gonna follow people that I can learn from. I started taking these financial one-on-one classes, and I learned so much. One of the things that I learned is to pay yourself first, right? So that when you have an opportunity to do something, you're not stuck saying, I don't have the money to do it. So that's how I was able to publish both of my books, by paying myself first. And it didn't take anything away from me being able to pay my bills or nothing like that. And I still do that up to today. Pay myself first every time that I get paid. Before I pay any bills, right? Before I pay anything, I take a percentage of every paycheck that I get paid, and I give myself something. And you want to do this, you want to put it into a savings account, right? You can have it automatically taken out of your paycheck, right? Every time you get paid, if you want to remove $100, $50, $200, have it automated. Because some people, once they start spending, then they're not going to even think about doing it. So have it on automation where once your paycheck hits your bank account, it's going to automatically go over to your savings, right? For me, I'm very disciplined, right? So I don't need to do that. Every time I get paid, I make sure that I go into my checking account and I just transfer a percentage over to my savings account for myself, paying myself first. I never skip a beat, right? Never skip a beat. Every time I get paid, I do that, right? And watching it build, guys, is a wonderful thing. Okay. And sometimes people say, well, I don't have the money to do that. If you do $25, whatever it is that you have to do, start, because we all have to start somewhere, right? $25 every time you get paid, and watch how you see that money growing. And you'll actually be proud of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So when opportunities come about, you wouldn't have to say, I wish that I had. Years ago, probably maybe back in the 80s or 70s or something like that, they had brownstone. Brownstones are buildings, right? In Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn. And they were selling these houses for $1. $1. They were selling these houses in black neighborhoods. And the catch to it was that if you bought that house or that property for $1, you had to be able to fix it up. And do you know that there's a lot of black people that didn't have money to purchase that house for $1, that property for $1, and fix it up? They had to be able to show that they was able to fix that house up, but buying it for $1. So a lot of time we lose out on things because we don't prepare ourselves for it. We don't prepare ourselves for things, right? A lot of people think that now we're going into recession and this is going to be cut, that's going to be cut, this is going to be this, that's going to be that. Are you preparing yourself for it? A lot of time we talk, but we don't prepare ourselves for the worst. One of the things that woke me up, that gave me a wake up call, was when COVID hit, right? People were being very creative when COVID hit and they couldn't get to work. Keep that energy. Just because you're able to go back to work, keep that energy. People were being so creative. That's why you have a lot of content creators now, because they figured, okay, I can't go back to work. My paycheck is low right now. You know, I'm going to start creating content. Don't stop doing it. That's extra money that's in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's extra money in your pocket. People were putting up that camera and putting up their phone. They was in that kitchen cooking, showing their cooking skills, showing their cleaning skills. If they was somebody that crochet or knit, they was up in the camera doing this, and people are going to watch something. If you're helping them with something, if you're giving them good information, if it's beneficial to them, people are going to watch. People are becoming interested. They're going to become interested with it. It don't always have to be drama. These phones that you're watching on is a moneymaker, and people don't even know that. People make thousands and thousands of dollars on these phones that you're using right now, just creating content. People are leaving their corporate jobs just to create content. Well, what is content? Content is whatever it is that you say it is. You don't have to come up here being perfect Patty, right? You come up here and you give information that somebody can use, and that's content. One time I did a faceless video of me loading my dishwasher right? I said, you've been loading your dishwasher wrong. This is the right way to load your dishwasher, right? And I put up the camera and I recorded myself loading the dishwasher. Do you know that I got a 500,000 views on that? People are interested. They want to know. Okay, I've been loading my dishwasher wrong. Well, let me see what she got to say how to load it right. I did another video on cleaning your fans, right? By using a dishwashing liquid, water, a bag, and just spraying it and then putting the bag over it and cleaning your fans instead of taking it open and taking all the screws out. An easy way to clean your fans. And people watched it and it made a lot of views. Okay? You get paid on social media for your views. You get paid on social media for your content. You don't have to be up here being perfect Patty. That's extra money in your pocket. That's a whole that could be a whole paycheck for you. And then you can still work at your corporate job. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Make the best of what stuff is now because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Create yourself some content. People will be here to watch you. I do about domestic violence videos every day. There's people that's in that situation. They're there to listen. Every day I get more than 1K views on on those videos every single day because there's billions and billions of people that is out there that's going through the same thing that I went through, and they're there to listen. They're there to get information. They're there to learn. You don't have to be perfect coming up here. People want to know your true, authentic story. People want to know that they ain't the only one that's in a situation. You understand what I'm saying? People do not want to, they want to know that okay, I know that it's not just me. She's went through it too. If you can give someone something or you can teach someone something, service, an act of service. It's just like like a exterminator or a plumber, right? They make money. Why? They make money because they solving someone else's problem. Either you're giving information or you're solving someone else's problem. If you're solving someone else's problem, they got their ears open. They want to know about it. If you could solve my problem, hey, tell me. Stop sitting there watching other people win and start winning. Stop seeing other people get into the bag and you're just sitting on the sideline watching. Stop doing that. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So, make sure that you budget. Different ways that you can become financially free, guys, is to reduce your debt, live below your means, put on a automatic transfer for your savings, keep your expenses low. Don't make your expenses so high. Don't move in a 5-bedroom apartment if you can't afford it. Okay? Go with a 3-bedroom, go with a 2. If you can downsize, then downsize. Make your expenses low. You can freelance. You can create content, right? Pay off all of your debts in full. The most people that is suffering now is that people are getting in debt with these credit cards. They're spending and then they're not paying back. Set life goals for yourself. Every year I set myself up to having a goal of what I want to save for that year. My first $10,000 that I saved. So what you do is you take it, you say, okay, I want to save $10,000 in a year, and you break it up into increments of what you have to save every month to reach your goals. Every year I have a different goal. Have a goal, set a life goal, right? And make sure that you stick to it. Build yourself an emergency fund After you build yourself an emergency fund, then start investing. And it don't have to be with Bitcoin. It don't have to be with no big investments. Just simply get yourself a IRA and start building on that. If you start building an IRA at the age of 20 years old, by the time you hit about probably 45, 50 years old, depending on what you put in it, right? You will be a millionaire. My son is 20 years old now, right? I am going to make him set up a IRA account. And you can do it with Charles Schwab's, some of the banks that you guys are with, you can do it with that. A IRA. Okay? This is money that you invested in yourself. Now you can take the money that you put into the IRA and you can push it out into investments, but even if you don't, you will have just the money that you save, depending on how much you put in there, right? But it's always good to kind of push your money out to make more money. Okay. Monitor your credit score to make sure that your credit score is up to par and start investing and investing wisely. Always make sure that you know what you're investing in. Don't go investing in something that you don't know nothing about. Okay. Don't expect for no one to tell you how to use your money. Learn how to use and invest your own money. Okay, you understand what I'm saying, guys? The best way is to rent properties, right? You make good money when you are a landlord. I know sometimes it's a headache, but that's one of the things that is a good investment because your money is coming back to you, right? You buy a property, you rent it out, your money is coming back to you, okay? And always track your spending. With wealthy people, they know where every dollar goes. If they buy themselves a Starbucks coffee, they make sure that they write it down. Know where your money is going. Track your spending and try to increase your income. Don't just work that 9 to 5. Get yourself a car that you can do Uber or Uber Eats. You understand what I'm saying? Create content, you know, uh, um, if you know how to be a counselor at any formal way, do that. Mentor people, tutor someone, be a blogger, be a affiliate marketing. Listen, it's a whole lot of things that you guys can do to increase your income. Don't stay at a standstill and then complain about it. I hope that this message resonated with you guys. I hope that you got something from it. If you did, make sure that you share it with your family and your friends because knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Peace.